Fun Fact Friday. So most of my books are Christian romance because it was just an easy genre for me to write in, having read it growing up and realizing that I wanted my books to be less preachy, but still have a good message behind it. But one day, God always does this, was like, hey, I need you to write this book about listening to the still small voice. And I was like, yeah, I don't know where that's going. And I remember there was this movie, and I can't remember what it was, but this guy who was a songwriter, he said he just kept getting this lyric like everywhere that he looked. It was in his music, it was everywhere. And so he finally wrote the song. And that's kind of how the still small voice came about. Because I just kept seeing and hearing that the still small voice everywhere. And so it got me thinking, what if things like we know that God like gives us free will, but what if things happen because we don't listen to God, right? Like he's talking to us and we ignore it. And then maybe something happens, like we could have saved someone if we'd have been listening. Because I think back on some of those stories of like people who were going to commit suicide and then they happened to dial this wrong number and ended up talking to somebody who made them feel better and they didn't kill themselves. Or, somebody who was like going to go do something and they got stopped and talked with somebody. And so they didn't end up getting in an accident. And just recently I had a friend tell me that, she was going through these really hard times. And every time she felt really low and that she was maybe going to choose a wrong path, then somebody would, call her aside and be like, hey, I want to talk to you for a minute. And so I feel like God gives us those opportunities, and sometimes we're not listening very well. And so he put this book on my heart, The Still Small Voice. And when I wrote it, another fun fact is the prologue is actually true. That happened with my daughter when she was 18 months old. She could talk a little bit, and I still have video of it, and it still gives me chills every time I see it. But she told me that she saw Jesus, and she would like wave to him and talk to him. And this one night, she just like went over and kept trying to give him stuffed animals and books. And she told me that Jesus loved her, but he didn't want her stuff. And I was like, okay, what do I do with that? So that became the story in the prologue of Kat's story. So there's a lot of real in this book. Not only that, but it's set here in Olympia where I live, and characters from my gym are actually characters in this book. So I love this book for that reason. I think you guys will love this series as well. There's 4 books in this series, and so check it out. Fun Fact Friday. See you later.